and welcome to another episode of Fire It Up. Today we're going to cook my infamous flaming death wings. Let's get to it. For those about to burn, we salute you. The ingredients are about as simple as you can get. You'll need vinegar, a can of tomato sauce, a can of chipotles and adobo sauce, and 10 chicken wings. I tend to use chicken drumettes rather than the whole wings because there's more meat and they're a lot easier to eat. Preheat the oven to 375 degrees. Here I have a modestly deep dish aluminum cooking pan into which I've put non-stick aluminum foil. This makes it a lot easier to get the chicken wings out when you're done. Some people prefer to put a little bit of oil on the wings before they cook them. Some people don't. I like to put a little bit on the aluminum foil, then roll the wings in it before I pop them in the oven. Most wings come in packs of 10 or 20. I tend to stick with the 10 pieces because 20 is way too many for one person. If you're cooking for a larger family, of course, you'll probably find it more economical to buy the larger packs. They're ready to go. All you have to do is wait for the oven to heat up. Alright, the oven's ready to go. Let's pop the wings in onto the center shelf. We'll cook them for 20 minutes, then turn them over, then cook them for another 20 minutes. That'll make sure they're thoroughly done and ready to apply the sauce to. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes and I've turned the chicken wings. Past this point, we need to let the wings cook for about another 20 to 30 minutes. I prefer mine slightly crispy, so I'm going to let them cook for another half an hour. During this time, let's make flaming death sauce. A few important points first. Pepper safety. Now, chipotles are basically roasted jalapeno peppers. I get mine in adobo sauce because it adds a nice little bite. But there are several things that you should not do. Thing number one. Do not lick the spoon. If you lick the spoon, you'll be checking into hotel paying through the express lane. Bad move. Second thing, after doling out the chipotles to chop up, do not lick your fingers. Now you're going to have to touch these guys to chop them up, and you're only going to need 2. But definitely remember, do not lick your fingers. It's a very bad thing. So, let's get to work here. Try to dice these up as finely as possible. The finer they're diced, the better they'll spread across the chicken. And honestly, don't use more than 2. 2 is plenty hot, trust me. You might want to cut back to 1 if you don't want flaming death wings and you just want flaming pain wings. Make sure you dice them up as finely as possible. Oh, an important safety tip number 3. Do not dice hot peppers when you have cuts on your fingers. I did that once, and let me tell you, I didn't know I could curse that well. Go, put one through. Trying to make sure these are diced just as fine as possible. And there we go. Now I mix the sauce into a plastic bowl because I usually end up with a little bit left over, which I can use later on to put on ribs or to add to other sauces. Let's go rinse our hands off. Remember, do not lick your fingers. Alright, after a thorough washing with soap and hot water, I think we're safe. Let's continue on. Take your tomato sauce, dump it in on top of the jalapenos, yes. Give it a nice stir. That's looking good. Okay, at this point, the chipotles and adobo sauce have actually been diluted enough that it's relatively safe to stick your finger in and check it. Oh yeah, baby. Feel the burn. To add just a little bit of snap to it, because the tomato sauce is relatively sweet, and just a light dose of vinegar. Adding the vinegar is always to taste. If you like a slightly sweeter hot, you'll want to leave the vinegar out. If you want to add a little bit of a sour bite, you might want to put in a little bit more vinegar. Check it again. Perfect. Now we just wait for the wings to be done. Okay, it's about 15 minutes until the wings are done, so at this point it's time to prepare the saucepan. Now what I tend to do is to use a large wok to do the coating of the chicken wings with the sauce in. You can use a fry pan or any other large pot. The idea is you want plenty of room for the wings so that you can flip them around and coat everything perfectly. What I do is I put the sauce in, and start it warming up on a medium heat. The idea is that this gives time for the sauce to kind of cook together before the wings come out and you coat the wings in the sauce. Okay, the wings are done and it's time for the grand finale. The sauce has been slowly simmering and cooking in the pan for about 10 minutes now. That's usually good enough to let the chipotles kind of mingle in with all the other ingredients, to kind of spread the heat out across everything rather than just a small chunk of chipotle you'll occasionally bite into. Also, sometimes you might want a little bit more variety than just the chipotle flavor. You can also add lemon or lime juice pretty close to the end of the cooking process. For today's fun, I threw in a little lime juice. That produces a very nice chipotle lime sauce, and you can also make chipotle lemon. One by one, we drop in our tasty cooked chicken wings. And of course, it's time like this that I'm very thankful that somebody invented non-stick aluminum foil. So otherwise, this would be a painful process. I discovered that from experience. So, we just toss our wings into the pot. One by one. There we go. That's all 10 of them. Now, for about the next 10 minutes, just simply toss the wings in the sauce. The 10 minutes gives you a chance to let the sauce soak into the chicken meat itself. You don't need the heat turned up too high. Just a little bit of medium-low will do the job just fine. Make sure that all the wings are thoroughly coated. You'll want to come in and stir the wings about every 2 or 3 minutes during the 10-minute cooking process. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes and the wings are done. As you can notice, during the past 10 minutes, the sauce is cooked pretty far down, and now it does a decent job of sticking to the wings themselves. So let's pull them out and put them in a bowl. I would say it smells heavenly, but because these are flaming death wings, I'm more thinking something in the exact opposite direction. But they sure smell good. And there you have it, a nice heaping bowl of flaming death wings.